What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode here at Eisei-en. This week has been a pretty eventful week here for us. We finally reopened our intensive classes after having been closed for about a year and a half due to COVID. So it felt really good to have all of the guys back into the workshop to work on their trees, work on our trees at the garden, and get things back on track. As a matter of fact, this group that came in was actually the first group 3 years ago when we opened up Eisei-en to join our intensive program. So it was kind of cool to have those same guys back in the workshop to continue on in their bonsai education. Now, today we're kind of last minute getting ready for the US National. We're actually going to be packing up all of the trees to take up to the show today. So we've got a few last minute things that we've got to get done in the garden. And I want to take you through that process and take you through the steps of actually loading up a large truck with a lot of bonsai, because it is kind of like playing Tetris, getting everything fitted in there just right. So I want to show you what that looks like. But before we do that, let's head into the garden and get these last minute projects done for the national show. So this final morning here, we're just getting all of the last minute kind of brown needles and brown foliage out of the trees, and we're mossing up the last couple of junipers that we have here that we haven't done quite yet. So this guy we featured in last episode as well. This is that big one seed juniper. So I pulled the root down into the soil a little bit here. We've mounded up the soil to kind of cover that gap in the root base of the tree. And then I'm gonna take a patchwork of moss here and lay that across the soil surface. So I had Cameron go out this week into the woods here around the property, collect up some good moss, and I think we should be able to create kind of a naturalistic look along the base of this tree. So I built this contraption for this Rocky Mountain juniper here because the tree's a little bit wobbly in the pot, and I think for a long drive in the back of a giant truck all the way up to New York, it's going to be a good probably 12-15 hour drive depending on what we run into. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't bouncing around in the back of the truck. So I built this for this particular tree just a couple days ago. It's just a piece of plywood on the bottom with a couple of 2x4s, one standing up in the back, that we're locking the tree to with a piece of wire. So hopefully that'll help stabilize the tree as we drive up to the show. This Japanese maple on an Ibigawa stone is another one that's a little bit precarious to carry in the back of a vehicle. So we built this contraption here to lock it into place. We're tying it in with some aluminum wire, which should hold it and keep it from rolling around again in the back of the truck.
Holy crap.
All right, so that took about a half a day to get everything loaded in the back of the truck. We managed to fit all of the display trees, some of the stands as well. We've got the stuff that we're putting on our sales booth, including trees and pots. So everything managed to fit, so I'm really happy about that. As we were getting further and further back towards the rear of the truck, there was less and less space, and I started to get quite worried that we weren't going to be able to fit everything in there, but we managed to Tetris everything together, and it worked out just perfectly. So we had two of my students come in and help us out, Edwin Roebling and John Cole. So big shout out to those guys and a big thanks to them for making this process a whole lot easier. So now I've got a drive over to Knoxville. I'm gonna pick up my dad, and then we're gonna head from there up to Rochester. So without further ado, let's get on the road. All right, so we stopped in Knoxville last night, stayed at my folks' place. I'm actually taking my dad up with me on this trip. We're gonna tag team drive up to Rochester from here. So it's bright and early in the morning. I gotta water the trees in the back of the truck before we head out for the day. But we've got a good, I'd say probably 8.5, 9 hour drive ahead of us. We're gonna stop just north of Cleveland. And then tomorrow, we're gonna head the rest of the way up to Rochester. So got a little bit more travel to do, but time to hit the road.
Hi Bjorn, this is the U.S. National Bonsai Exhibition, the 7th one we've produced. They said it couldn't be done because America is too small, but we did it. This is the 7th time we did it. There are trees here from Seattle to Florida, Los Angeles to Maine, all over the country, right next to each other. So people can come and enjoy the beauty and see difference in the locations. We also have a big sales area too. It was so popular, we sold out. Because of COVID, we had to limit the number of people. But come next year, 2 years. Thanks.
All right, so we are officially back from the U.S. National Exhibition. We've unloaded the truck, got everything set back up in the nursery, and I thought it'd be cool to kind of go over what happened at the show, some of the highlights, some of the trees that won as well, and just give you my general thoughts on the exhibition. So as always, every single time I go up to the national show, the quality gets better and better each time. So this was no exception. There were trees from all over the country. You know, despite being in the middle of COVID right now, or kind of on the waning days of COVID anyway, people from California, people from Portland, people from all over the United States drove their trees cross country to have them on display. So it was a really good mix of native species and imported exotic species as well. The stand choices have gotten significantly better over the last few years. Pot selection also has gotten better and more unique as well. The health and just general horticultural quality of the trees is at a totally different level, which is great. It makes it much more difficult for us to compete in terms of winning awards, but that's totally fine. It raises the quality of bonsai in general because, you know, I want our trees to win. I want our students' trees to win as well. So we've got a lot of competition from around the country, and that's a really great thing. I think competition definitely breeds quality. So I was really interested to, see which trees won certain awards. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get video of a lot of those trees, but I'm going to try to find some photos of some of the best in show and overlay them here so you guys can see some of those examples. I do want to give a shout out to 2 of our students who took home awards. So first off, Chris Neal from Florida took home the Classical Japanese Bonsai Design Award, which was for his Japanese black pine. If you guys recall, in part 1 of our prep for the national show, that was the tree that I glued the piece of bark back onto the front of. The judges did know that it was glued on there. They had seen my video, so that was definitely factored in, but congrats to him. And secondly, our student Peggy Snow from North Carolina won the Best Suiseki Award. Now, I just want to thank Bill and Diane Valavanis for putting on such an excellent show. It was fantastic to see them again. I don't know if you guys know, but Bill has had some health issues over the last summer, but he powered through those, made the show better than it's ever been, and I definitely want to give him a shout out, and his wife as well, for putting in all of the effort and making it well worth everybody's time driving cross country to set up their trees. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode here. Hope you guys enjoyed seeing the trees on display, and I also hope that you agree with me that the quality in the States is moving in the right direction. So I'm really excited to see where it goes in future shows, but we've got a lot of work here at Eisei-en in the meantime, so I'm going to jump back into that, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.